Hey guys, so we're going to try to do this video to help us out in understanding division area model. So I'm going to do a division problem and I'm going to do it with models and with using it in expanded form in numbers so you can see how those two things connect. So we're going to do a problem. Let's do 435 divided by 3. Okay? So it's important to remember here that what we're doing when we divide is we're splitting a number apart. So when we were talking about money, we could be doing $435 and splitting it with 3 people. We could have 435 cookies and we're going to split them up between our 3 friends. But we're taking that number and we're pulling it apart. So the first step, whether you're using models or numbers, is to put this in our model. So we've got to put it in expanded form. So we know that that's 4 hundreds, so we can put 400. We know that this is 3 tens, so we can put 30. And this is 5 ones, so we're going to put 5. Now remember, in division, we know our total. We're looking for the part. So it's going to go inside of our box, unlike in multiplication. In multiplication, it's the outside because we're looking for the total. And you'll see I drew my lines where I saw my plus sign because that's where I decomposed that number. It's where I pulled that number apart by place value because this is my hundreds, my tens, and my ones. Now, I'm going to do the exact same thing down here so I can show you doing both the model and the numbers at the same time. Okay? So let's see how this goes. So in my model, I have 4 hundreds, which is representing our base 10 flat. Okay. Then I have 3 tens, and those lines are representing our 10 rods. And then I'm going to put circles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles for our ones because I don't want to write squares to get hundreds and ones confused. So it's just like those little itty bitty square blocks, or cubes rather. So now we're going to divide. Now remember, regardless of what you're using, no matter what model, whether you're doing traditional, our steps are the same. To divide, multiply, subtract, bring it on down, and bring it on back. So I'm just going to stick that over here. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring it on down, and bring it on back for us to remember. And you can't see that, so that's awkward. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to say, okay, how many groups of 3 can I get out of 4? Because we're trying to pull that number apart. So when we're doing it in the models, we can very clearly see and circle that. That's that division step. Okay, now when we circled that, we actually did the multiplication as well, and let me show you why. Because down here we can say, okay, I know that I can get a group of 3 out of 4 one time, just like you saw here, one time. It's in the hundreds place, so it's a 100. Now, we are going to multiply to figure out how much we have left that did not fit in that group that we just made. So in this case, we already did it. We circled it. And let me show you why. So we do 3 times 100, and that's 300. Now, if you look here in what we circled, it is 3 hundreds. So it's the same thing as saying 300. This is just a picture version. This is the number version. Okay? Now, after you multiply, you subtract. Well, in the model version, we already subtracted. We saw that there's only 100 left. Here we can subtract it and see the exact same thing. We have 100 left. Now, we have to move to the tens. But we can't leave this 100 alone because that's still something we're splitting apart. We still have that 100 that still needs to be split apart. So in this case, the 100 comes over there, and we know that 10 in the tens place is 100. So I'm going to add 10 more lines, and I probably didn't give myself enough room, but let's try. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Barely fits. Now what that looks like here is much more simple. You just put the 1 because we know that 10 tens is 100. So it just became 100 there. Now, we're going to split this into 3 groups. So I'm going to say, okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's not very cute, but we can see how many groups we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that's a 4, and it's in the tens place. Now watch here. Same thing, but you have to use your math facts, or you could have listed out your multiples of 3 here. So we say, okay, how many groups of 3 goes into 13? If I wasn't sure about my 3 facts, I could come down here and say, okay, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I've now gotten, you can't see that. I have now gotten too big at 15. So it's going to have to be 12. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and say, okay, that's 4 times. We're in the tens place. So that's 40. Now again, we have divided. So now we're going to multiply. 3 times 4 is 12 and attach the 0 because you're in the tens place. Now, you actually already did that up here because whether you realize it or not, you circled 12 10 rods. Inside of these circles here, these very ugly circles, there is 12 10 rods, okay? So now we're going to subtract, and here we're going to get 10. Now here you can see there's this one little lone 10 rod hanging out there. So in this case, we're going to come over here, and we're going to make 10 circles because we know 10 in the ones place is going to be 10 because 10 times 1 is 10. So we put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 circles. Here, bring it on down, turns into 15. So now you have 15 circles. This means ones. You have 15 circles, but you also have 15 as your number. So it's the same thing. Numbers, models, numbers, models. So now we have one more thing we need to divide. So we're going to go all the way back up and divide. So we're going to say, how many groups of 3 can I make? So I can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can put a 5 right there. Now, same thing here. How many groups of 3 can I make out of 15? I actually already did my multiples there. Super convenient. So I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get 5 here. Now I'm going to multiply. 3 times 5 is 15. I circled 15 circles there. Okay? So now I subtract. I get 0. And you can see here in my really, really ugly circles, really need to work on my circles and my squares and my lines apparently. But you can see that we circled them all, so there's nothing left over, so there's nothing remaining. There is no remainder. So now I'm going to erase my multiples because I need this space here. And I can see that both of them have the same answer. It's 1 hundreds, 4 tens, and 5 ones, which makes 145. So now I hope that you can see how the models and the numbers connect. You're really doing the exact same thing. Like I said before, divide, multiply, subtract, bring it on down, and bring it on back. Steps remain the same no matter what division you're doing, what model, what strategy, no matter what you're doing. Your division steps remain the same when you're dividing whole numbers. So it's going to be the same. It just looks different. So this is your models. These are your pictures. And these are your numbers. So I hope this helps. Please let me know what you think. Love you.